Want to know the difference between designers who get stuck executing other people's ideas and designers who actually shape the product? It's not just your title, it's not just your years of experience. It's how you show up. Hey, I'm Femke, and over the last decade, I've worked with hundreds of designers who are amazing at execution, but struggle to grow into the kind of designers who shape decisions, guide teams, and influence the business. And the truth is, becoming an influential designer isn't about job titles. It's not something you magically unlock when you become senior or staff. It starts long before that, with how you think, how you ask questions, how you show up, and how you connect your work to real outcomes. In today's video, I'm bringing you perspectives from three amazing design leaders: Steiner, Miranda Slayter, and Angelina Lu, who each share a different piece of the puzzle. How to take initiative in a way that builds trust, how to challenge back and ask strategic questions, how to communicate value to stakeholders, and how AI can multiply your design impact so your ideas land faster. Here's what I mean. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone suggests a feature. Most designers say, okay, I'll design it. But an influential designer asks, what problem are we solving? Or how will we know this worked? That tiny shift from order taker to problem solver changes everything for your career. Instead of treating influence like some big leap, think of it as a natural shift in how you show up. Something that grows as you take initiative, ask better questions, and collaborate strategically. I want to tell you about something I've been trying recently that honestly surprised me. You know how launching a website or a project can be such a headache? Plugins, SEO, layouts, it just takes forever. Well, I tried Durable and it changed how I handle all of that. I just typed in a few details about my project, picked a template, and in less than a minute, my site was ready. And I'm not just talking about a basic page. It comes with a custom domain, SEO already set up, and it was fully mobile friendly. Everything included and ready to go from the start. And what's really cool is that it's not just a website builder. There's Durable Studio, which lets you make logos, visuals, and other marketing assets super quickly. There's also AI employee chats, basically little helpers that can assist with things like customer questions or marketing ideas. It lets you spend less time on setup and more time on making things happen. You know what I really liked? How simple it all felt. Before, I'd spend hours stuck on all the technical stuff. Plugins, layouts, just drained me. With my latest project, I got pages up and visuals done in just a few minutes. Finally, I can focus on just building something. No more getting stuck on the tech side. This is especially cool because so many people are starting side hustles or small businesses, and AI is making it easier than ever to launch fast. Durable really lowers the barrier. You don't need a big budget, a team, or technical skills, it just works. So if you've been sitting on an idea and you want to get it online fast, Durable makes it really easy. Go try it, play around, and see how quickly you can take your ideas from concept to live. Can't wait to see what you make. Thanks to Durable for sponsoring this video. Influence isn't one big move. It's built through small, deliberate actions. Now, if you want to build that strategic foundation from the ground up, understanding how to think about product problems, frame your ideas, and position yourself as a strategic partner, I've got a course called Product Strategy for Designers that walks you through exactly that. I'll drop the link in the description if you want to dive into it. But for now, let's start with the most underrated career move that almost every influential designer I know has mastered, and it comes from Steven.
Early in my career and still now when I do contract work, the number one question I ask in any one-on-one conversation that I have is, how can I help you right now? That is your ability to open up the door for them to give you ownership of something that they didn't offer first. So if you want to grow to a senior level role, go to the people who need you and depend on you and ask them, how do you make their job easier? Rather than, Steven only does what I tell him to do and he doesn't look beyond that. So that concept of like, how can a middle level person grow to a senior level person? It becomes that influence. And then the top things that should be done to achieve this is going to be not waiting to be told what to do. Asking for permission is a way to kind of pivot it. What I tend to do is I go to my leadership or people that I've worked with that's like, hey, I'm going to do these things. Do you agree? Or, hey, I see a problem here. This is what I think we should do. In the agency world, I spent 10 years of my career first in the agency world before I went in-house. The thing that we would joke about, it's a swear thing, but it rhymes.
Say it.
Okay, I got your approval. So it's don't bitch without a pitch, right? So as you take more leadership, this idea of top things you should do is always have a pitch for your complaints. So if you're going to somebody be like, man, I really hate this project, or I really think that what we're doing is a terrible idea. Okay, what are you gonna do about it?
Okay, so this is where most designers stop. They take initiative, they ask, how can I help? Maybe they pitch solutions instead of pointing out problems. But here's the thing. Stephen's point runs deeper than just doing more work. It's about seeing the bigger picture, understanding what your team or leadership actually needs, stepping in to make their job easier, and creating space for yourself to contribute strategically. That's where influence really begins. When you show up in this way, you're not just checking boxes or completing tasks. You're building trust, credibility, and visibility. People start to notice you, and suddenly your contributions carry weight. That sets you up for the next layer, challenging back. Not in a confrontational way, not just to argue, but to ask the questions that make sure your team is moving in the right direction. Questions that clarify goals, uncover assumptions, and tie design decisions to real outcomes. Here's what this looks like in practice. Your PM says, we need a dashboard for our users. Instead of jumping straight into Figma, you might ask, what decisions are users trying to make? What data do they actually need to see? How often will they be using this? You're not being difficult. You're making sure the team is solving the right problem before anyone wastes time building the wrong thing. Miranda breaks this down well, showing that the first step to becoming an influential designer isn't just doing more, it's knowing when and how to ask better questions. That's how you go from being a helpful contributor to a designer who actually shapes decisions.
We're seeing a lot of content on like, become a strategic designer, but what does that actually mean? The first actual step is asking better questions instead of just saying yes to everything. Like if we're really boiling down, because like you could be asking me this and you have a little bit more maturity that, but educating your designers on how to challenge back, how to ask the right questions so they understand exactly what they're doing before they do it. That's the key. That's how you start the journey of becoming more influential. And then it's a process of, okay, well, when you have those questions, you understand the outcomes of this design, then it's about tying your design decisions to the actual business outcome, to the KPIs or OKRs or whatever your team actually uses. And then you start to make kind of baby steps into that.
So you're asking better questions now and really starting to get what your team is trying to achieve. That's a huge step. It shows you're not just executing tasks anymore. You're thinking strategically about the outcomes. The thing is, understanding is just the beginning. Influence only kicks in when people can see and feel the difference your work makes. Too often, designers fall into the trap of showing everything they've done, every iteration, every little detail, thinking the value will just be obvious. But it's not. People are busy, their attention is limited, and the way you present your work often matters more than the work itself. Here's what I mean. Let's say you redesigned your onboarding flow. You could walk into a stakeholder meeting with 12 slides showing every iteration, every A/B test variant, every pixel change. Or you could lead with this. We reduced drop-off by 23% just by simplifying the sign-up steps from 5 down to 3, and here's what changed and why. See the difference there? One buries the value in the process and the other leads with impact or outcomes. So what's the smarter approach? Focus on the signal, not the noise. Pull forward the key points that really matter to your stakeholders. Tie your decisions to the outcomes your company cares about, the metrics, KPIs, business goals. That's when your work stops being just another deliverable and starts actually shaping perception, building trust, and proving your strategic value. In the next clip, Miranda dives into exactly how to do this in practice. She shows how to put yourself in your stakeholders' shoes, surface what truly matters, and communicate it in a way that lands, resonates, and drives action. And you'll see how small changes in what you present and how you present it can dramatically increase your influence.
Think of your stakeholders as your users, right? And when you put that report or that presentation together, think about what you need to pull forward and make the primary point that you want to get across. Maybe you've done 16 things, but you only highlight 4 of them because you know that that's what's going to prove the value of continuing on being a strategic lever within the company versus just being the executors that everybody just tells them what to do. So yeah, I think it's the key ingredient to making it successful is really considering what your company actually cares about and then making that connection for them. And don't sit there, don't schedule 90 minutes. Don't schedule an hour session every 2 months. Like really be strategic about when you're communicating it, who you're communicating it to, and how you're communicating it effectively to what your stakeholders are keen to listen to.
Once you know what matters and how to communicate it, the question becomes, how do you make it happen faster and more effectively? How do you take those ideas and turn them into something your team can see, interact with, and give feedback on without spending weeks in endless iterations? This is where tools, and especially AI, come in. It's not about replacing your thinking or your skill, it's about amplifying it, helping you prototype, collaborate, and bring your ideas to life quickly so your influence actually lands. So you've seen how thinking like a designer with your stakeholders, really putting yourself in their shoes, focusing on what matters most to them, and telling the story behind your work can totally change how people see you and your impact. That shift alone moves you from just executing tasks to actually shaping decisions. Think about it. When you can turn an idea into something tangible in hours instead of days, you can get feedback faster, iterate smarter, and prove your thinking before anyone's already moved on to the next thing. Speed isn't about cutting corners. It's about keeping momentum so your ideas actually land while people still care. Angelina walks us through how she does this in practice, showing how AI can make design faster, clearer, and more impactful.
Okay, so tell us, how do you see AI changing the relationship between design engine product?
Oh my God, massively helpful, like incredibly helpful. It's amazing. So I'll give probably like a couple examples, right? Back when I was not back when I'm still doing product, but back when I was, when without the AI tools, I would have some like ideas in my mind. It's so hard and so time consuming to then have sort of to build a flow, right? Where we can interact with people or some sort of very, very simple prototype where a user can click and stuff like that. But then nowadays, I open my AI tools of choice, which for me are both for vibe coding tools and magic patterns are pretty good because I feel like they have better design choices. Take screenshot of whatever, existing user interface you have, or sometimes you can even kind of draw a very rough wireframe and then input that into your AI vibe coding tool.
Yeah.
And then, within a couple hours, you will be able to have somewhat of a very useful and very interactive prototype that you can use to either illustrate your ideas better with the rest of the team, right?
Okay, let's wrap this up. So what did we learn today? Becoming an influential designer comes down to a few key moves. First, take initiative without waiting for permission. Ask, how can I help? And when you spot problems, come with solutions, not just complaints. Second, challenge back with better questions. Before you start designing, ask about the goals, outcomes, and how you'll measure success. That's what shifts you from order taker to strategic partner. Third, communicate like you design. Treat your stakeholders like users. Show them what matters most, tie your work to business outcomes, and make the connection obvious. And finally, start experimenting with AI tools to move faster. Prototype quickly, get feedback while momentum is high, and prove your thinking before the conversation moves on. None of this requires a promotion or a fancy design title. It's about how you show up every day in your current role, and those small, deliberate actions compound over time. That's how you go from being a contributor to someone who shapes decisions and drives outcomes. Here's a little challenge for you. This week, in your next meeting, try Steven's approach. Ask one person, how can I help you? And see where it leads. Or try Miranda's move. Next time you get a design request, Ask one clarifying question before you start design. Pick just one small thing and notice what shifts. If you want to go deeper, I've got longer conversations with Steven, Miranda, and Angelina where we dive deep into strategy, influence, and career growth even more, which you can get access to in my course, Product Strategy for Designers. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Before you go, drop a comment about what you're going to try first, hit the like button if this video helped you, and subscribe so you don't miss the next upload. Remember, your career is something you design. Start designing it intentionally today. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.